Hello, theme park fans, and welcome to episode 86 of the E-Ticket Report. My name is Chris Wakefield, and I am joined by my co-hosts, Jalen Harvey.
Hey, y'all.
Ryan Barr.
What up?
And Tommy Hawkins.
Hey, you're going to introduce the new co-host as well?
With a cameo by my new son, the 5-day-old Lincoln Wakefield, who's making quite a bit of noise right now. Let's start with Ron DeSantis, and Disney.
Wrong DeSantis.
Jesus.
So, can anyone, in plain terms, explain to me this okie doke that the Reedy Creek board pulled on the Florida government / Ron DeSantis?
You ever play Foursquare?
I think Len Testa explained it pretty good. And he was calling this before this even unfolded because he knew what was going on.
Yeah, well, he showed up to the public meeting, didn't he? The very public meeting where, they openly discussed what their plans were and everything. They put everything, all the minutes. They put the agenda online before, exactly saying this is what we're going to do at this meeting. The meeting anybody could show up to. They published the minutes from the meeting, and obviously some of the things in the meeting were, we can build an extra theme park, we can build an extra small theme park like a water park, we can do this, we can do that.
So for context, hang on, this is interesting. There's your bottle. So for context, Lynn attended this meeting, comes back on the Disney Dish podcast, goes, "This happened," and we all listened to it and went, okay. And then it actually happened in real life, and Lynn was a month ahead of this, right?
Yeah, basically.
He was saying, look out for Disney to basically telling Reedy Creek to approve everything, approve. And that's basically what happened, because they made a development agreement where basically Disney has full control over the property for the next 30 years plus however long until the next the last living relative of King Charles the third.
What's her face? Lilibet. So she's the current heir. So after she dies or whatever. So basically,
21 years after that, though.
Yeah. Jeez. So they've just covered themselves for the next century, basically, haven't they? But the thing is, obviously, what was discussed. I think Len and that discussed it, and what was pretty obvious is that it appeared as if Disney were just like, no, we don't want to start a fight with DeSantis, so we'll let it slide. We'll let them rename it. We'll keep it really chill. Let them control it, etc., etc. We're knowing full well that when this eventually comes to light, it's really going to piss them off. And then, what's Iger done this week at the shareholder meeting? Chris, did you want to talk about that?
Update me, because I must have missed that.
Well, the whole 17 billion and stuff like that.
Oh, yes, sorry.
You know them statements that were 100% designed to end up on where they did end up on, on CNN and all the other places.
Yeah, and let's not blow through that, because and my son was born on Tuesday. This meeting, I think, was on Monday or Tuesday, so I was a little bit busy. But that did catch my eye, because Iger comes out and says that Disney plans on investing in the next 10 years, $17 billion with a B dollars in the Walt Disney World property. And immediately I threw up the red flag on that and was like, hey guys, this sounds like Disney Forward. This sounds like PR. This sounds like basically bullshit. But say more.
A very loaded statement that was 100% designed to essentially embarrass any kind of reaction from what Disney have done with the Reedy Creek. Is any moves of punishment, punitive sort of decisions that DeSantis and Etel make. It's designed to embarrass them, because they're just going to be like, look, we're about to spend this amount of money in the state. We're going to create this amount of jobs.
Yeah, promising
so any action,
17 or 20,000 new jobs or something like that.
Yeah, so any action that DeSantis and all that does really doesn't look more than, petty revenge, really, because essentially I don't think anybody can truly understand what it is Disney have done other than basically legally checkmate DeSantis. No one. I don't think any sort of layman person who doesn't really understand theme parks really knows what they've done.
And let's keep us anchored in why this is happening, so to speak. Florida passed the quote unquote "Don't Say Gay" bill. Was it 2021 or 22? Even I forget how long ago it was. And Disney came out and said, "We don't like that law. We think it hurts our guests and it hurts our cast members. But we're not a big fan of this law." And DeSantis lost it and was like, "Oh, I'll show you." And that's what this all is stemming from.
Right.
Yeah.
But let's one thing to note is DeSantis' response a couple days ago saying like, "Oh, we're going to respond with things like taxes on the hotels, taxes on the roads,
increasing tolls,
or tolls on the roads." Yeah. So, which doesn't really, I mean, I guess hurts Disney, but they have the money to afford any taxes they send them, but hurts the people way more than Disney.
Well, essentially the take that I saw said that this essentially hurts Florida residents more than it does, anybody else. It doesn't hurt Disney that much. And at the end of the day,
hurts the people who work there who are residents of Florida. Yeah, exactly.
But every action that DeSantis has taken in regards to Disney up until this point has got nothing to do with the state of the Florida and everything to do with his ambitions of, running in the Republican primary. And that's been true. This is not a new thing. It was the same during the entire period of the pandemic and up until this point. So anything that he's doing, he's not really thinking about Floridians or about promoting business in the state of Florida. He's solely just got his eye on becoming president of the United States. So it's interesting to see.
Which is going so good. So good.
Yeah.
This is going to be great. I can't wait for next year.
I think really the danger is what other, because there's the other thing that's kind of gone under the radar is that he's busy trying to change the rules that he, when he does throw his hat in the ring and say, right, I'm running for president, that he doesn't have to quit the governorship, that he can just carry on doing both. So that's something that's flying under the radar. So there's still potential for him to do quite a bit of damage, even if long term, someone else comes along eventually.
Well, and kind of the offset to this after this announcement of I will raise tolls and taxes at Disney World for guests was, but in Florida we're building the world's largest Buc-ee's. So I'm not that bad for business.
Yeah, I mean, but again, it's a kind of a master trait. Obviously, this is your field, Chris, in terms of PR and stuff like that. But I think everything that Iger said was designed to completely sort of embarrass him and humiliate him in terms of the fact that whether it's bullshit or not, 17 billion, you could say, oh, well, he's come up with that figure because, and then, where they do the mental gymnastics with, revenue and all the rest of it, and they come up with 17 billion, and it's not ever going to be that. But it is designed to make whatever DeSantis does or says look really ridiculous because it's a serious amount of money to pledge to spend in one single state, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And let's clarify, at least from my position and most people's position who are grounded, that's not going to happen. Disney's not going to spend $17 billion in Orlando in the next 10 years on straight up CapEx type of stuff. That's not in the cards. Iger's supposed to be out in a year and a half anyway, so the new CEO could come in and go, no, we ain't doing that. We got other stuff to worry about. No,
but the actual, if you were to average it 1.7 a year, it's actually not that far off really what they were spending on the overall domestic parks back in the day when they were spending a lot. Right. So you could argue that he's extrapolated, like he's come back. His position is somewhat similar to how it was, sort of 2016, 2015, when he was actually putting his hand in his pocket and pulling out money for domestic parks. You could argue, well, he's really essentially just saying he's going to spend a little bit more per year at Disney World than what they were doing anyway. But it does sound like an excellent, like large investment that embarrasses the governor. So there's no sort of massive downside to that, because they could, in theory, in the next 3 years, spend 1.7 billion a year and say, well, we're going to do that. We're going to keep doing that. They might decide in 4 years they don't need to. But, you know, there's a bit of cover
let's do this now. We'll do some mental masturbation because everyone's doing it. We'll go around the horn and say, what would you do if you had $17 billion to spend in Orlando over the next 10 years? A lot of people are saying, oh my God, Fifth Gate, you know, the WDWNT crowd who doesn't know the first thing about theme parks. They just see the headline and they go back to work and tell everyone it's true. One thing I want to mention, people saying, oh, we should have Fifth Gate and bring us Tokyo Disney Sea or bring this thing over here. I thought Disney fans hated when Disney repeated rides from resort to resort. And every idea I've seen for a Fifth Gate is just like, can you do Tokyo Disney Sea in Orlando? I thought you guys hated repeats. What's up with that?
I never understand that. All I would say is if I had that kind of money, I would be looking to build two e-tickets in two separate existing parks for the next 3 to 5 years, counteract Epic Universe. Like, which is pretty much what a lot of people have been saying. Don't just build one new ride, not overhaul. We're not talking overhauling an existing ride. I'm talking new capacity, new land. There's plenty of expansion space within all of those 4 parks. They've just got to do it. And that's all I would say.
I guess I really want a Fifth Gate. I'll tell you that. I really do. I want a Villains Park. And I'll settle for a Villains expansion in the, you know, behind Fantasyland or whatever, behind the train tracks. Epcot needs a lot. But honestly, yeah, like you said, this is 17 billion can be just copying stuff from other cooler parks and adding that to random spots.
Yeah, that's what someone said the other day, and like, legitimately, I can get it, but Beauty and the Beast, just bring Beauty and the Beast. I don't care how it works. Bring Beauty and the Beast. This ride looks amazing. Blah, 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 blah. It was like, yeah, you could fill the existing parks with clones of everything, but they're going to take another 5 years to build them.
I would just love some original ideas. No IP. But, yeah.
Jalen, what about you?
Well, first, putting that money back into the cast members, that's first and foremost. If we spending $17 billion. Yeah, no, let's pay people what they're worth. So when you do need people to work these new attractions, you actually can have people want to work for you, unlike having the trams stalled because you guys can't get anybody to work for you because you don't want to pay people what they're worth. But that's a whole nother discussion.
Well, I would argue, and this is just me being devil's advocate, what's the return of investment on that?
I'm just saying, if you want people to be able to work for you, you should be able to. There's no secret that Universal is paying a little bit more.
But by the end of the year, Disney will be paying their cast members more.
But Disney's a bigger hassle.
Yeah, if they're unionized, though. And
they already signed it into agreement. That was a couple weeks ago.
But that's another conversation we can have about all that, maybe at some other point. But I think probably, for me, if you wanted to do something in terms of investment and also support your cast members, is in a similar way to what Universal have done with the Epic Universe, the Housing for Tomorrow project, although it's somewhat small scale and you could argue not enough, doesn't feel sort of the capacity of accommodation, is that Disney, if they really wanted to support their cast members, is that they would build enough housing, affordable housing, rental or, purchasable housing within a decent commute time from all of the parks so that cast members have got somewhere to live, because, the Orlando housing crisis, I think, for want of a better term, is a very serious one. And there's a massive shortage of housing and accommodation and affordable housing, which is why people's rents are so ridiculously sky high. So for me, if they wanted to invest and actually support the cast members, they could start with that wages conversation. Something else we could talk about, but
that's the thing too, is that when we talk about a fifth gate, Disney, like I said on Twitter, Disney can barely afford to staff 2 water parks, let alone a fifth gate. Are we kidding ourselves here?
I think also maybe another thing to think about in 10 years. 10 years we're talking. There could easily be a decline. Technology for travel is advancing. It's going to be easier to get farther faster. I'm just saying it could be possible that Disney sees a decline in attendance at some point. It's got to be. They're
seeing it now. What do you mean? They're seeing it now. The numbers are showing a decline in attendance now.
But I mean like a full-on drop-off to where they need to start pulling people in like they used to have to in the 90s.
But if that's going to happen, it's going to happen shortly after. Well, it's going to continue to happen from this point onwards, because, as you know, all they've got on the slate to open is a walk-through water feature. I'm not going to call it attraction. It's a walk-through water feature. So there is nothing.
They kind of shot themselves in the foot with that, but also their entertainment taking a lull is going to bite them later on in the parks. People are less interested in what Disney's coming out with. They're not going to be as interested in going there down the line. I think
that's a good segue, Ryan, because I want to talk about has everyone seen the Mario Brothers movie here?
No.
God damn it, Tommy. Whoa, Jay, you didn't like it?
I have not either, but I don't care about spoilers for a kid's movie.
I don't think there's going to be much of a spoiler. Okay. I've already read enough that the story's not that good, but it's good enough film.
Time out. Sorry, Jay, go ahead.
Well, I mean, the story's just standard. It's Super Mario Brothers. We've been playing the same story for the past 35 years. Y'all knew what this was.
Well, that's what I mean. It's not going to be some freaking...
But this is the thing, and Jay, I'll let you get to it. This is what I love about it, is that it's not an overly complicated, super convoluted story. It's just Mario's got to help the princess. And I love that. It was such a breath of fresh air. Like, oh my God, it's one-dimensional. It's super easy for my 4-year-old to understand. Oh, you eat the mushroom, you get bigger. Not, there are these special things called metachlorians. If you eat a mushroom, this and this happens. And eat a mushroom, you get bigger. Period, dot, dash, let's move on. I loved how simple it was.
I mean, it was a simple thing to begin with. It started on an 8-bit console that most of our phones have surpassed. Like, it wasn't supposed to be deep. Why do you people want something deep out of Mario when the games have done? If you want deep things out of Mario, play the RPGs. Play
Zelda.
Get all that crap. Play Zelda, and even then, that's a pretty straightforward plot too. Like these are straightforward video games that were made back when things did not have to have mental health plots. I'm not saying that I don't like that, or having ancestral trauma plots. Like I'm not saying that I do not like
villain redemption arcs.
Yeah, no, it's just
they wanted Kingdom Hearts.
It's an Italian dude running around stomping on turtles. What the fuck did you people want?
Thank you.
Don't understand what you guys want. He jumps on mushrooms. He says, "Hey there, paisanos!" Like that's all you needed. Like shut up.
I love a good Christopher Nolan film, a good intricate, messy, tangled. I love those kind of films, but this didn't need that. And I think what Universal did so well in Illumination was they kept it simple. Maybe it's because I went into a matinee show with my 4-year-old daughter, but and this is the first movie ever that my daughter has sat through the entire thing in the theater. Ever. I took her like Boss Baby 2 and she left after 10 minutes. I was like, I'm never doing that again. But she loves this. And Tommy, you hinted at it. This has opened up for my kid, this consumer family, a whole new world. We've been watching Mario on YouTube all day today, the old 90s show. And she got the Mario Brothers van toy from Target yesterday. So now she has been sucked into this Mario universe. We play an emulator on my laptop. She's a fan. She's hooked from the movie. She is hooked because it was simple.
Yeah. One thing I gotta know: my favorite my favorite Nintendo character, Birdo. Does Birdo pop up anywhere?
No Yoshi stuff yet. No Yoshi. I mean, there is a. Well, I mean, hey, look, there might be some Yoshi.
No, go ahead and say it. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Oh, the very end of the movie, the final end credit scene is a Yoshi egg popping, like cracking. It's a Yoshi egg that was given to Bowser at like his wedding. Like that's the plot, and the egg gets sucked into these pipes, and that's this thing that we end up seeing crack. We
with the classic Baby Yoshi sound.
Yeah. We do get to see Yoshi's Island for a quick second, a few like here and there.
Yeah, they're running across the screen.
Like a herd of them going by.
So I don't know about games, but I'll ask this: is it setting up for a sequel, or is it?
Oh my god, so much!
Or, yeah, but it's setting up. But is it a sequel, or is it setting up for spin-off? As in,
both.
Oh, we don't.
It's spinning off. It's setting up for a whole universe of movies.
Seth Rogen already talked about that these movies were setting up they're already talking about doing a Donkey Kong spinoff, which is why we focus so much on Kong's Kingdom. Like it is, they are setting up. So you think you think Universal got basically the Disney of video games and wasn't going to do every single IP that was major and huge? Oh, word is bond, son. They finna run that whole entire catalog. And again, characters that showed up in this movie that weren't even from Mario.
Right. Again, the toys are hitting. And I've got a kid in the target demographic. I've played Mario with her beforehand. We played Mario Kart emulator and Super Mario World emulator. So she knew a little bit going into it, and she was excited to see a couple of characters. But it was just interesting to see her it was like the first time I watched Ninja Turtles as an 8-year-old kid. And I was like, whoa, this is a whole new universe for me. The same thing happened for her. So trying to explain to her, first of all, trying to get a kid to sit through credits at the end of a movie is like death. But I knew this was coming, so I made her sit through it, and she loved it. So now she keeps asking me every day, when's Yoshi movie? When's Yoshi movie? When's Yoshi movie? She's hooked.
It's one of these things where, and you already know that probably this year at E3, they're going to drop a new Mario game. Who knows what it's going to be, but it's going to be a new Mario game. And it's one of these things where I walked out, I've seen it 3 times, and from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday was the day where it was completely packed. People are off from work. They can bring their kids. It was packed house, full of people of all ages, and there was several cheering, several clapping all the way throughout it. Like it was a fucking Marvel movie. Like I have not seen anything like that since No Way Home and Endgame, where people are clapping and cheering halfway through. And I walked out that theater saying to myself, Disney fumbled the bag by not getting on Nintendos, like not getting them from the very get-go before any of this started to blow up, because somebody was. It was either going to be them or Universal was going to.
Or not doing this level of good simple storytelling with the characters they already have. And listen, I'm in a gay marriage. I get it with the inclusiveness, but Disney sometimes shoots themselves in the foot with some of that stuff. Not that it's bad, but like you didn't have to go there. And you did a little bit, and then you know it's going to turn people off, and you're going to change the narrative about your new movie and make it about that. You don't have to do that.
I don't think it even is that though, and I think it's one thing that Iger's been saying since he come back is where they've definitely been fumbling for a few years. Is it's just the stories and the storytelling itself. I mean, you just spoke about it. You're pointing at sort of inclusiveness and all the rest of it, but could it just be that they've just been writing too many convoluted bollocks, like too much stuff that's sitting on Netflix. You know how much shit on Netflix and all the other streamers that you watch these. They're trying to be these TV shows that've got these like long-winded, convoluted story where it fills out a season for 10 episodes when really it needs to be 5. Or
but how many times has Disney led with marketing for a new movie by telling us this movie features the first openly gay character in a Disney movie? They have to do that 1,000 damn times. That's not what the movie's about. Don't even mention it. Stop leading with that, because even though I don't mind it, you know you're going to change the narrative of your film. And people will be talking about the story. They'll be talking about a gay, not gay character. Stop it. Just stop. Chill. We get it. Stop.
There's just
but they can
going to
put
be so
stuff
much
like
controversy. Oh, go ahead, Tommy.
I was going to say, but they can put stuff like that, and they did with Luca. But what did they do with Luca? They didn't promote it at all because they just put it straight on Disney Plus, and that stuff exists within that film. But it was just a good film, and it was just a good story, and they didn't spend that much time, pointing towards that. And then that movie, just people slept on that movie because they put it straight on the streamer. So it seems whatever they do, whether they've got some bullshit thing that they feel they need to market, or whether they've got a good story and a good film, and they just fumble to the delivery. And it seems to be the delivery is the issue more so than every single film. That
and it's dead by a thousand cuts. It's a bunch of things. And I'm no animation expert, but I think Disney's house style, their animation style, is boring. It's stale. All the characters across movies look the same. When that Strange World thing came out, I was like, this looks boring. This does not look intriguing. And you look at Into the Spider-Verse, like, oh shit, I want to see that kind of animation style. You look at the detail on King Koopa in the Mario movie. Oh, I want to see more of that. Disney's pie-eyed house animation style is boring.
I think we're going to see a change for that with Wish. Like, I definitely think that we're going to see, because Wish is taking up the mantle of something more like how Puss in Boots looks, where it looks very stylized and drawn CGI. So
but even Elemental, we saw the Elemental trailer. The story's like Zootopia, and it looks like Inside Out.
Oh god,
it looks like
oh god. Oh god! Yeah, Let's not talk about interracial relationship. Zootopia.
I'm telling you, it's just they're stuck in a rut.
It's going to suck.
It looks like Disney told an
dick.
AI to make a movie for them.
Yes, thank you, Ryan. Yes.
Oh my god! Please, this looks
but
so.
That tends to be. You're talking about animation style. Oh, they're trying to do this, but when things don't naturally evolve, when they're like, oh, so like this is for me, this is half the problem Disney's got is that someone starts doing something that isn't them. And then they overcompensate. They're not nimble. They can't adjust accordingly. Things don't evolve. It's like they overcompensate, and then they produce some film that's trying to copy some other, to be like in Spider-Verse or whatever, Bad Guys or whatever, different style. But then
why have Pixar when your Disney animated films look like Pixar films? Like it's the same company. It looks like. I'm sorry, but they do. It does.
That's a hard bar.
If we want to keep shitting on their movies, should we talk about The Little Mermaid and how that looks?
Well, I would. Well, hold on. Before we get to that, I will say that it to me seems like Pixar is at least going to different styles. For me, I like how Turning Red looks. I think Turning Red. I like how Turning Red looks. I like how it looks.
And it helps the story is awesome. It's a really good story. Again, we lead with story. The story is amazing.
But that's a great story. I mean, Luca looks more like a Studio Ghibli film with Pixar flair to it, which I do. I like how Pixar is actually, changing while Disney is leaning into more Pixar-ness, and that I do not. That I don't like. That I like how Pixar's new style definitely feels like, if anybody's ever heard of the video game Earthbound, they look kind of like Ness from Super Smash Brothers from that series. That's what I like. I like how
what you're kind of getting at is that
dolls.
Pixar is naturally evolving, right? So Pixar is evolving in its own way, and Disney Animation just seems to be, I don't know, like Strange World. I watched Strange World when I got COVID, and within 10 minutes I figured exactly what the story was, and I'm like, I can't be arsed with this film. I finished it, but I was like, what a waste of time. And that's purely down to the story. And it looked amazing. It was beautiful. It looked fantastic. But at the same time, the story was just dull as ditch water, You got
to have both now. The competition is too good. You got to have both. Into the Spider-Verse could be about Spider-Man going to the grocery store. I'd still watch that shit. It'd be like, this is amazing. This style looks good. It helps. The story is amazing also.
It's one of these things. Oh, go ahead. It's one of these things where. Oh, no, sorry. My bad.
No, go ahead. I was just going to change the subject.
Stop being racist, Ryan.
Whoa.
Well, can we talk about? Let's talk about. Since
I was going to talk about the Haunted Mansion movie. We saw the trailer for that.
Oh well.
Can we stay on topic for a few more minutes, and then we can
all about that.
We can waffle about the Mansion movie that I've not even bothered to watch the trailer for. I was going to say, what are your thoughts on the Toy Story 17 or whatever that they've announced.
Hell, man.
What?
The thing is, the past.
There's a Toy Story 5.
Oh, stop.
Thing is, though, the past few days, like Illumination and DreamWorks have floated some sequels like Sing Free, Slop Free. What's the other franchise?
They're doing a Megamind series. Despicable Me 5 is Despicable Me 4 is coming, or 5. I don't know what they're on.
Camp Cretaceous.
And there was another one. There was like Sing Free, Slop Free, and then there was another one. I can't remember what the other one was. It's going to drive me crazy. But either way, it was generally well received. But then to contrast that, the Toy Story 5 or 4 or 5 or whatever one they're on, it was a bit like, are we really doing this? Does this really, like, the reaction was complete opposite.
Wait, hold on. In my
People
opinion,
like Sing.
Sing's amazing. Sing I've watched.
I like Sing.
I've watched Sing probably more times than most animated films I've ever seen. Like,
I like Sing a lot. I do like Sing a lot. My problem with Illumination is that they do not create new IPs as quickly as Disney does, or at least did. And Illumination needs to start making sequels and needs to, like, they do have the new Migration movie that's dropping. Migration doesn't look like it's going to be ripe for sequels, even though I'm pretty sure they're going to beat the hell out of it like they do all the other franchises. But they need more. After seeing Mario and seeing the beautiful animation that they can do, I need more stuff besides seeing the same 3 franchises over. And Minions does not count as a fucking franchise. It's part of
I got it. A Rabbids movie. Rabbids. And then you can do Rabbids versus Minions.
Getting back to Mario real quick.
Yellow Rabbids.
By the way,
Mario, the 1-2 punches now that you can go watch Mario and you can go to Osaka or you can go to Hollywood, and in 2-3 years you can go to Orlando and step into that world. Disney had trouble making a ride off of Frozen. Without a doubt, their number one biggest hit film in a generation, and they still can't make a Frozen ride.
Kanto ride? Where's on Kanto ride? Well,
right.
Was he in Kanto at?
Like, it's just
7 years to.
It's amazing how much they fumble this.
Well, I mean, I think with Nintendo, this has been happening for a while. I'm sure what happened was Shigeru Miyamoto back in like 2012, 2013 got into filmmaking with the little Pikmin shorts, and then he wanted to make a full-length Mario movie, got with Universal, and then Universal was like, oh my God, let's get this man for everything that we can get this man for.
Right.
And
yeah, let's not act like this is nothing more than a, circumstantial, like Universal applauded that Nintendo would make a movie about Mario.
Because the movie was going to come later.
Regardless.
Like, the movie was going to happen regardless because they already had him in the room, because that's what you should do.
Well,
hell,
don't forget,
Harry Potter.
Don't forget, it takes like 4 years to make these animated movies, right? So if you go back in time 4 years, we're looking at 2019, and they were very much in the midst of planning the theme park in 2019, in Epic Universe.
I will say this. Disney needs to start playing the new Stitch ride because they got a live-action Lilo and Stitch coming, right?
Well, Stitch is always going to be popular. So
it was Frozen 3, Toy Story 5, and then Zootopia 2. That's what they announced the other day.
I don't mind. I think Zootopia would make sense if it's an anthology series and we get away from Nick Wilde in them. Like, I'm cool with, because you can tell more stories of different characters. It's a huge city. I understand. Frozen 2 opened up a big thing for Frozen 3, so I think that's fine. With Toy Story 5, I'm so sick and tired of saying bye to these niggas. I mean, I'm so sick and tired of saying bye to these motherfuckers. Like, I am so tired of them keep bringing, like, this is the last one. This is the last one.
With all these sequels and all this original stuff is that your audience has moved on.
Yes.
We haven't talked about Moana, a live-action Moana. This is so weird, and it screams of desperation. One of the biggest things I talk to my clients about in creative marketing is we don't want to look desperate. Flying The Rock out to an island to announce a film that's 5 years away, that there's no artwork, there's no title, there's nothing for us. We're going to do a movie. See ya. It screams of we're desperate. And a live-action Moana
it does make me
desperate.
Wonder, to be cynical though, it does make me wonder is what deal have they got signed with him? Because he obviously did Jungle Cruise and all the rest of it. He's obviously gets actively involved with driving making this kind of movie and that kind of movie. Like,
well, his DC money's falling through, so he needs something to fall back on.
Yeah. So is it truly them, or is he driving this idea? Like,
he needs to be bullied out of Hollywood, I say.
Yes, I agree. And you don't roll out a movie like you don't come out in the middle of a summer season or start of a summer season with all these big movies and say, we're going to do a movie and just leave it at that. It looks desperate. It's like they had the idea and then they immediately drove to the film set or to the set of the beach to announce it. It's desperate. You don't announce a movie like that.
Here's the thing, though, like to sort of contrast that conversation that we were just having about Toy Story 5, and also Shrek 5 was the other one that they said they're going to try and get the cast back for. You just mentioned legitimately about, audiences moving on in that time because it is such a long period. But we are talking about 7 years since the animated Moana movie came out, right? So it's the flip side of that conversation. And some of the stuff that I saw from non-Disney theme park people was, oh my God, it's only just come out 7 years ago. What the hell? Like, blah, blah, and the reaction from sort of the more everyday, casual, Disney fans is like, well, what's the point? It's just come out. In their minds, it's so recent.
It's fresh.
Now, one thing that we see a lot is when you float an idea out there to see if it'll stick. And this could have just been Disney floating an idea. We'll make a video, announce it, and see how the audience reacts. You've committed to it now. I mean, there are 1,000 different ways you could have floated. What if Disney did a live-action Moana? Let's put it out there and then read the comments on Facebook and see the reaction. But now you've committed to it with a rock with his kids in the video. Like, come on. Like, it's so it's amateurish. It's so amateur from a PR standpoint, from a marketing standpoint.
They still have not done the series for Disney Plus that they said they were going to do. Heck, Tiana still hasn't had hers.
Yeah.
There's several series that still have not come to Disney Plus, which was probably announced maybe 3 to 5 years ago. It's one of these things where it just feels as though y'all don't know what you're doing. And you're obviously desperate because I guess you've exhausted all of your legacy films and now you want to use Moana because word is bond. Moana is one of the most watched shows on Disney Plus.
We watch it once a week in this house. We watch it once a damn week.
And people love it. But the fact that it took them, and this is even worse than, say, Frozen, because Frozen had a sequel already in development like that. Moana should have had a sequel by now, or the series should have dropped already. Like it's moving slow, even in terms of Disney standards.
Can you imagine if they made Frozen live action?
Oh God! I'm surprised they didn't go with that. I mean, there's tons of pale white people out here you can do this movie with. Like, you can do Frozen. You can do it a lot. Y'all act like there's only like two or three Samoan folks who can do Moana.
Could you imagine the controversy of recasting Adele Dazeem as a white woman?
And then again, it goes back to Disney's, and it could just be someone turned in a Moana script that was good enough ahead of time before a Frozen script. I'm sure they've got a request out there for a Frozen live action script out there somewhere, and someone's working on it. And I remember in 2010 when I went to Disney Studios in California in SoCal, and it's a tour that I still can't talk about to this day because it was some stuff I can't talk about. But I was told by someone at Disney showing me stuff for Snow Queen and saying, this is going to be a major movie. This is going to be massive. Frozen. They knew it years before it came out. They knew what they had in their hands. How do you not start a ride, an attraction, a whole plan for Disney's inability to capitalize on stuff, but then still try and force synergy into a square peg.
But this is what I don't understand. Like, and sort of no shade to Jim Hill, but Jim Hill on Disney Dish is always telling us all these stories about, and they had this plan for this, and there's all these bullshit plans that they had for these, an idea for everything, right? And why haven't they got these idea for every goddamn movie and TV show that they're working on?
And here's the crux of it. I'll tell you why.
Be a hit.
I'll tell you why. Disney is scared. They are scared. You know, and I know, we all know they can open up a fifth gate tomorrow and that bitch would turn profit. but they're too scared. Disney runs their business creatively, from a creative standpoint, terrified. They are terrified of stepping out on the ledge.
Let's give you another example that's come up on Twitter in the past couple of weeks. Is they spent 2 years working on that fucking walk around animal thing for Galaxy's Edge. 2 years and millions they spent developing this ride system and idea that could only hold 6 people at a time.
Yeah.
So, and then the land wasn't going to be any bigger. They were going to incorporate it into the land, and clearly legal and whoever said, no, you can't do that. Like, you haven't got room for the walkways, and that cannot be in front of people. So realistically, how many people would have actually gone on that thing? What, 400 an hour maximum? Maybe? Probably more like 200.
Well, they already did that with rocket rods. They've done worse things in the past and actually implemented them. So I can see why they're, scared to pull the trigger.
And there is an idea for everything in Imagineering.
What I'm saying is they're scared in one respect, but they also waste money. And, other people in that industry
once in a while, something will break through. Once in a while, they got a D23 coming up. They got to show something off. So bring out that big old snowsuit thing with the guy with the big feet and bring out the exosuit. I don't know. But when it's not Imagineering, it's the executives who see that and go, this won't turn 10 times profit. It'll only turn 3 times profit or 4 times profit.
And back in the day when they did go off on a ledge, they did it shittily, so it ended up losing tons of money. I mean, it's the same thing where like, oh, why doesn't Disney have creativity anymore, anything like that? It's more so when they did, they wasted it on stupid ideas that, albeit creative, they were just stupid creative ideas.
But it takes a lot of stupid ideas to get some good ideas. I tell my clients all the time, my job is I get paid to fail. I've got 10 bad ideas. But if one hits, I'm good. Creatively, you are supposed to fail. You are allowed to fail creatively. Your audience will forgive you if you release 4 superstar limos, but then come out with one good Toy Story Midway Mania.
Your audience will, but your shareholders won't.
That's the issue. That's the issue.
To flip side that, though, what about the metaverse bullshit that they've just laid off?
Yeah, that was dumb.
I don't think anyone would turn around and say, yeah, that was a really good idea.
Yeah, I told you that last year. When Chapek said, we're going to go hard on sports betting and metaverse. I said, that's the dumbest freaking thing. Those are 2 fast ways to lose money.
It's a cycle.
That's some Eisner type ideas. Started
back with Disney Quest. And in the next 5 years, we'll see Disney come back into the gaming realm, and they'll make a new they'll buy a bunch of developers and start making games again. Now they're out, but they'll be back in a little while once they see.
I doubt that
the numbers come back.
As you know, I don't really play video games, got no interest in it, so I don't know that industry. But for me, it's pretty obvious is that you employ somebody who knows that shit inside and out and knows what's creatively and commercially cooking, and let them be in charge of the licensing and go, right, you are allowed to license out this IP or that IP to this company and that company because they're doing good things with this type of gaming, and just license it out. Just make money that way. Let someone else do the work.
Here's why Metaverse failed. Here's why every company was red hot for Metaverse, started putting money into Metaverse, and every person was like, this is boring. Metaverse was built to appeal to, from a creative standpoint, companies and not people, because creating content for Metaverse was relatively cheap. You wouldn't have to put steel and concrete in the ground. And when you tell Bob Chapek, hey, it's all online, you can change it out easily, there's no commitment, Chapek goes, ooh, so it's a theme park, but it's on the cheap. I'll do it. And that's why it failed. But that's why you saw so many companies investing in it, because it was sold to them as a cheap way to do themed entertainment.
I don't disagree with that.
Most of the consumers were just saying, hey, we don't fuck with this. We just don't want it. We don't want it. We don't want it. Nobody. I mean, VR is expensive already. It's not like something like and it's not one. these things that people need in your house. It's not like a TV where people feel like they need to have a TV. It's nothing small like an Alexa that's like $20, $30 that you can install. It's not like a game console where there's tons of games that, or have legacy games that people want to play. Like, it's just,
and we've
it's
seen
not something that everybody wants.
But every time we have a recession or depression, people will spend more money on experiences and not things. And with the looming threat we had last year and the first half of this year of a recession, people are going to spend money, but not on things. They want it to go do stuff. So when you go in the opposite direction, you're doomed to fail. I had a company asking me something with metaverse content. I said, it's a boondoggle. Don't spend one dime on this. It's a boondoggle. And sure enough, the next month, Facebook said, "Oh, never mind. Sorry, that sucked."
But the whole thing, like, sort of ideologically appealed to Chapek because it's just, for me, it's creatively brain dead, right? He was big into this. Oh, the guests are the ones telling the story. The guests are this. That. So for him, like, the good example would probably be like Smuggler's Run. It's a video game, so you're like the guest is in charge of their experience versus Star Tours, where it's content that's being delivered to you and you just experience it as a passive user. And Chapek was all about, let the guest be in charge, because it is creatively brain dead to do that. You haven't got to write a story if you're just paying someone to have like a video game and someone just plays it themselves or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just,
you are the magic.
And that
you
was
do
his
the work
whole
yourself.
ideology. Because
if Disney was, go ahead. Sorry.
No, all I was going to say was because he probably liked the idea that he wasn't having to pay someone to create the stories. And this is going back to our previous conversation about storytelling, and this big thing that Iger's come back swinging with is storytelling. That's the word that he keeps saying over and over again, because clearly he feels that in that time that he was away, that died throughout the whole entire company. So.
No, you're right. I want to keep it moving here. Ryan.
You wrote my favorite ride at Walt Disney World, and now it is your favorite ride at Walt Disney World.
I have a question first. Who asked for a new Rey Skywalker movie?
Oh.
Nobody.
Well,
I wanted John Boyega one.
Who asked for this?
Yeah, everybody wanted John Boyega. Everybody wanted more John Boyega, and now we're getting more Rey.
15 years older, by the way. 15
years is a good distance of time to actually separate
Rey.
Yourself from the Palpatine crap.
Well, it's not that she's retired. She runs like a Jedi. Look, we needed we needed something new.
Oh, God.
We did need something new.
Just forget about Rey and let's pretend like Rey's going to be involved like 15 minutes. She sets up a Jedi Order, and then we fast forward 30 more years, and then she's gone, and we have a Jedi Order.
Look, I like Rey. I do like Rey. I just hate the.
So do I. She's awesome.
A lot of these characters I like. It's just the stories that they put them in, especially the last one.
No, they could definitely make Rey badass, and especially as a leader of a Jedi Order for sure. Like having her roam the galaxy looking for new Jedi.
I'm cool with that. Like I'm cool with that, and like it's a rebuilding story. It's going back around to get the band back together story. I love those. I love a good let's get the band back together story. And who knows what Jedi that we'll see who are still hanging on or remnants of them, and maybe we might see Broom Kid. Who the fuck knows?
The interesting and I think somewhat could be a disappointment to me is actually the Dave Filoni movie. You're going to make a Mandalorian movie, clearly. I think that's how this whole Mandalorian story is going to wrap up. Yeah, I think that's how it's all going to encapsulate. It's going to involve Mandalore.
That's basically what he said, though, didn't he? And so who was it floating? Someone, was it you, Ryan, or someone said that basically he's making an Avengers movie for all the Mandalorian characters and Boba Fett and all the rest of it.
We could see like... Just throwing it out there, how Grogu, it's going to set up how Grogu either continues through the universe or I don't know. But it is going to be a bridge. It's going to work. If it fails, then it ends up as a solo and we just forget about it. If it's good, then we have a few movies. And then what's the other movie? It was Old Republic, I think, before the Old Republic.
I only saw headlines.
It's the Jedi. It's the first ever Jedi. It's an origin story for who was the first
Jedi.
ever Jedi. I just wanted to be like some dude who you know how we all did as a kid, trying to grab something from far away, just by extending our hand. I would love if that's how like the first thing it is. He's just trying to get like a soda or something, and he pulls like, "Oh my god, I'm magic!" And that to me would actually be a pretty good comedy. I think it would be funny. A guy who just finds out, "Oh my god, I have superpowers just by being mad spiritual."
I would love it.
Sounds a bit like Shazam to me, though.
They should just take whatever ideas Rian Johnson had, whatever he was thinking with that kid with the broom at the end of The Last Jedi.
That was the other thing that was being that I read the other day, that basically whoever it was saying, you know, like Rian Johnson doing another film can happen. He's just busy at the moment. So they were definitely floating that idea that he would be coming back for another film.
We'll see. Again, I didn't hate the new trilogy. I watched them all. I still watch them once in a while. I wasn't a big fan of it. There are some parts where I just go, ugh, okay. But I know a lot of guys out there really were raging on it. I'm not that passionate about it.
Episode 8, it's a shame that it was in between episode 7 and 9. That's just what I'll say. Like, episode 8 was something else, man. That movie had a lot of.
I loved it. It's my favorite. I rewatched them all recently, and it was my favorite one. Honestly,
it had a lot of promise to it, and then they just stomped on it with the next one.
All right. Let's move on because we're getting on in time here. Ryan, you hinted at it. I was at Walt Disney World in Florida a few weeks ago because Eric and the kid were on spring break, and I didn't want to be with them on spring break because I don't like people. So,
you made one of them.
I made another one. I doubled down.
These are conscious choices.
No, I had to go to Orlando for some work stuff. So while I was in Orlando, first of all, since I have carried so much water for Airbnb in the last 10 years on the show, it's only fair that I talk about my bad Airbnb story. I flew into Tampa. I almost saw Jay, but Jay, why didn't I see you?
Because they didn't have sports betting.
They don't have sports betting in the casino in Tampa.
Hey, I don't go there often, so I have no idea. Plus, I don't.
So I land in Tampa. So I've got to drive to Orlando. I get my car from Turo, which is a great site at the Tampa airport. I say, hey, okay, the casino's on the way. I'm a good Irishman. I love to gamble and drink. So I stop at the casino. I tell Jay, I'm at the Hard Rock. Come hang. So were you on your way, Jay?
Yeah, I was coming back from something. I think a movie or something like that. No, I was getting my hair retwisted. Yeah, I was getting my hair retwisted.
So I'm in the group chat with you all going, where's the sports book? Where is the sports book? And Ryan goes,
it's there, but it's closed.
Yeah.
it is there, but that's the one that Calvin Ridley, the NFL player, got. He bet there on games and got suspended for a whole season. And then it wasn't allowed like 3 months later. So if only that happened a little bit quick, if Florida's legislation was a little quicker, they could have got Calvin Ridley would have been saved.
So I leave the sports book and keep going to Orlando. I get a message from my Airbnb host. I'm staying at an Airbnb off of iDrive. Again, just me. I just need a bed. I need a bed. Not even a room. I need a bed. Paid like $50 a night for this Airbnb. Cool. Right off iDrive. Airbnb host messages me and goes, hey, check-in is between noon and 5 p.m. It's like 11 p.m. I'm like, whoa, dude. Well, you should have sent me this days ago when I booked your Airbnb because it's 11 p.m. and I'm on the way. And that door better be unlocked when I get there because I'm tired. Oh, it'll be unlocked. There's a fee for that, though. There's an administration fee, he calls it. A what? To unlock a door is an administration fee? A junk fee. All right. Get to the Airbnb. First thing I see when I get there, and it's a shared house. It's like a house with like 3 Airbnb rooms, right? First thing I see when I get there is a Siamese cat. Okay, it's gonna be cool. He's got a Siamese cat. He's got a tortie. He had a tuxedo cat. I'm a big cat guy, so he had some cool cats I hung out with in the driveway. I get into my room, $50 a night. It smelled so damn bad. guys. It was awful. Cigarette smoke. There was mold on the walls, mold on the window. I've stayed in better motels than this damn room. So I slept in my clothes on top of the covers on the bed because it was like midnight by the time I got to the room. Midnight 30. And the next day I checked out, got a great hotel, and the guy gave me a refund, obviously, because I was not letting that shit slide. So there it is. I had a bad Airbnb experience, so bad I will probably never do Airbnb again.
Nor should you. That company is trash. I've heard the same experience happen like 1,000 times to anyone, wherever they go, no matter what the place is rated. It's such a scammy company. They charge you fees. They charge you fees,
stupid fees
for everything. Even if you leave it perfectly like it was when you arrived, you will get fees.
A late check-in fee. Unlock the door. Give me the code to the door. What do you do? A late check-in fee. Get out of here. Are you kidding me?
Fee. Cleaning fees when they don't do any cleaning themselves.
Yeah, he had a cleaning fee. The room, like, it was someone heavily smoked in this room for decades. I could smell it on my clothes when I left. And shout out to, and I'm blanking the name of the hotel, but I checked out that morning, called this hotel and said, hey, I need a room, and I'm working this day, so I need Wi-Fi. Can you get me in the room now? And at 10:30 a.m., they got me into my room. And I forget the name of the resort. I'll come back later and tell you who it was. But shout out to that resort because they got me in a room at 10:30 in the morning. Really good for them. But yeah, I agree, Ryan. And now with 2 kids. And again, when I travel alone, I usually stay at Airbnbs or hostels. I love hostels. Super simple, super cheap. But with my family now, there's no way I'm booking an Airbnb again.
You should try out Storybook Travels.
Stop.
They're the sponsors of this podcast. Storybook Travels is
our longtime listeners. Egghead59.
They have those cool homes that are like themed, and they're all inside like a little townhouse somewhere near close to the park.
Airbnb has those along 192. You can have like a Harry Potter room, a Little Mermaid room, that kind of stuff. Anyways, so I'm working from Florida, from Orlando.
I think I got the name wrong, by the way. I think it's something else, not Storybook Travel. Yeah.
Okay. So I do go to Epcot, and I try to get a boarding group the morning I was doing this. I'm getting tips from everyone the night before. Do this, wake up at this time, refresh, hard closed, yada yada. 6:58, I have the app open. 6:59, I refresh, and they're sold out. But boarding groups don't go on sale or go public until 7. It is 6:59 on my iPhone, the atomic clock on my iPhone, and they were already gone. What did I do wrong? I'm sorry. This is for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
That's what what you did wrong is you have to be on the screen where it says join queue.
I was
at 9:58 or 6:58. You start spamming that button regardless of how close it is until it is 7:01. Until 7:01, I'm telling you, Chris, if you are pressing it at 7:00 and it's not working, it's possible that it's too soon. Sometimes like it's delayed and like you could miss out because you think you didn't get in, but in reality you were too quick. But
here's the thing.
You
missed
probably
out
weren't
on the boarding
spamming
group.
that button.
I missed out on the boarding group.
You probably weren't spamming the button is all I'm saying. And like it was easy. Like I'm not going to say easy, but people did it the day Tron opened and it was gone in a second and a half.
I missed out on the boarding group, and I did the impossible. I showed you guys the screenshot for proof. I paid for a lightning lane for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
I paid $15-something plus tax for a lightning lane, and then I come back at 1 to do the boarding group, and I got one. So I wasted.
And you were lucky enough to get a boarding group. You got on.
Yeah,
so you got on twice.
Well, that was at like 2:30. It was like an hour and a half after. Like they weren't even sold out yet.
Because you couldn't.
You would have gotten
you in a different park?
No, Ryan said, no, you got to pay. You got to pay. It's the only way you're going to get on, Chris. You got to pay.
Well,
why didn't you come to me? Why did you not ask the local?
It was in the group chat. You were there.
Was I?
Yeah, you're busy probably chasing some ass or something.
Yeah, no, we were having this conversation while it was happening. But
I did write
it twice. Like
I loved it. I absolutely love this ride. It gave me the same feeling Hagrid's gave me the first time. I loved it.
So the pre-show, did that work for you the right way the first time?
What's the right? I think so. Yeah, everything worked.
Or did you? Yeah, because Lightning Lane goes to the pre-show, right?
No,
Lightning Lane, you're right.
No, Lightning Lane goes to the merge room, and then you go into the pre-show together.
Right. So the second time around, I went through the whole thing. That night, I went through the whole thing.
So yeah, like the room lifted up, and it was like a smaller room before, and then when I first went in, all the walls were up, and I was like, oh, I'm guessing that I just spoiled it for myself because I had no.
Oh no! I got the full Poseidon Siri treatment.
Yeah, for me the walls were up, and then it was just a flash, and then we were already in the room.
No, I love it. It's a great, and again, it's hard to see online what's happening, so I didn't even bother to watch anything. I loved it. I told you all, I get very motion sick. And on this ride, nothing. I was a little queasy after the first time, but the second time, nothing. I was floating. I was on cloud 9. It's a great ride.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, my number 1 at Walt Disney World. Number 1. What songs did you get, by the way? That's the most important
thing. I got One Way or Another, and the second time around, I got September in the back row.
Mm-hmm. Solid, absolutely.
So I was just I was, and the park was still open. The Epcot was still open for like 2 more hours after I got off it. I was like, I'm going home. I can't beat this. I am leaving the park right now. I didn't stay for harmonious reflections, illuminations, whatever it's called. Like, I'm done. I'm going to go look at the ball and the colors and take some photos, and I'm getting out of here.
So that's what pisses me off about there not being standby, because in your shoes, I would have gone on it later like you did, probably got on it and then just gone back around and tried again until the park closed.
The next day, I had, I went to Hollywood Studios, right? I made the reservation. It was a Saturday. I made the reservation for a Sunday. I did the wrong day. Right. And at the gate, they're like, no, you don't have a reservation. I was freaking out. Like, oh my God, I got to fly home tomorrow morning early in the morning. They fixed it right then, right there. No fuss, no muss. Oh, we'll just change your reservations today. Bang, bang, boom. Easy.
So they can do it when they want to. So all these stories that you hear on Disney Dish, I was by
myself all weekend, so
yeah. But all these stories you hear on Disney Dish about how they can't do it and this, that, and the other, they can. I've seen what they can do. If you're a Club 33,
I was freaking out because I paid a lot of money for this pass. You know,
certain people take priority, cheap. And on top of that, it's something that
I'm an influencer.
Because this is built off of. It's built off of the same fast pass system. You can keep refreshing the hell out that thing and eventually get it. Like I had to play around with it one day, just going back and forth, over and over and over again, swapping around, bouncing to different parks on the same reservation, and eventually I got what I wanted. But it's one
huge advantage I had. Sorry to interrupt. You go finish.
Oh no, I'm done. I'm good.
I was staying, not that I got to do a trip report because like I stayed at, the place that the podcast was named after for 2 weeks, and Chris goes on a cruise for 3 nights and we do a longer trip report. But
we'll get to your report next show, I promise.
I stayed at a Boardwalk Club level and I got the concierge there to basically do whatever I wanted. I had access. Well, the first day we went, I had purchased Lightning Lane before we even got on the plane. And then our flight got delayed, and I didn't even get there till 1 a.m. the next day. So I got that little Lightning Lane credit back, and I bought another Lightning Lane with it.
Nice.
But stay at club level. Lesson.
Do not stay.
Real benefit having them. No Airbnb, club level.
So talking about that and DVC and all that crap, right? What are your thoughts on the whole discount for Star Cruiser?
We knew it would happen. This is not a surprise to us, right?
But I did say to you, and someone
go ahead.
I was going to say, there's only 100 rooms, right? So I said ages ago on Twitter, look, basically it's so expensive that even if they were running the rooms at 50% capacity, it's still going to make them like $45 million revenue a year, right? And the point I was making was that if you only get 50% of people willing to pay full rack rate, that they'd be able to top up their revenue by offering some sort of discounts to, DVC and whatever. And that's exactly what they have done.
But,
and then someone said, "Oh, I thought you said that this can't fail, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, no, I said it can fail. It can fail miserably. It can have, only 50% of the rooms being filled or capacity and still make
You got to remember, we just said it, at Disney, it's not just enough to make profit. You got to make an obscene amount of profit.
Exactly.
10 times profit.
And they're also manufacturing, basically, they're manufacturing like a perk, aren't they? They're like, because you're a whatever it is, DVC, then you can get a discount on this ridiculously overpriced hotel.
And
but then it'll feel like
cruise.
It's a perk. Like it'll feel like they're getting value for money because,
There's one connection I missed that I should have brought up before when we were talking about the movies. Star Wars, they're going to have they're going to have to put Batuu in one of these movies. And they're going to have to create a story for that land so that we can have something to think about when we're in there instead of just looking at the lifelessness of that wasteland that they put there. I'm telling Chris, I'm coming up with a solution to this land. I'm telling you.
Well, they did just say
put Batuu in a movie and maybe make it a Mandalorian movie. Who cares? Maybe put Dave Filoni in charge, and maybe redo Rise of the Resistance, Rise of the Mandalorians. Who cares? You can keep the First Order, maybe make it Empire, or whatever the Giancarlo Esposito Empire is called.
I spent 3 hours in Galaxy's Edge a couple of weeks ago. 3 hours. Didn't see Chewie, didn't see Rey, didn't see Kylo, didn't see Stormtroopers, didn't see Mando. 3 hours walking back and forth, just hanging out, trying to find something to look at, sitting outside of rides, listening to people's reactions. Didn't see a damn thing. Spring break. Busy time of the year. Nothing.
Not to, change the subject. Well, not too much, but they did just announce that they're bringing more characters to Batuu. We don't know which ones. And they also said that there's a bunch of new stuff coming to Star Tours with new locations that we haven't even seen yet, which I have no idea what the hell that means.
If we get Cal Kestis at Batuu, that would
I would.
Do you remember about 3-4 years ago when they were promising that they can add more stories to Smuggler's Run? And then the goalpost got moved, and then they got that must have been fed out to Jim Hill, but it was like, oh yeah, they're going to do that, but it's not going to be for another 3 or 4 years. So now they're saying that in another year that there'll be more Star Tours, which is great. I love Star Tours, and I love the fact that you don't know what you're going to get, and it's going to be completely different pretty much every time you go on. That to me makes me want to go back on the ride, but yet they can't come up with another story for Smuggler's Run.
Well, I mean,
they probably have it.
They can do whatever they want because that ride is equipped. Each pod has like 6 4090 Ti graphics cards, and they can play whatever they want on that screen. It's just a matter of making something entertaining enough.
Mate, if they
their
loaded
job is not to be entertaining, their job is to make money.
That Star Wars Battlefront game would probably be more interesting if they just loaded that onto the console.
No, not Battlefront.
Whatever it is, the one with the actor from Shameless,
Gotham.
who keeps showing up to Gotham as
Fallen
well. I just know him from Shameless, but that guy, like Cameron, whatever his name is, like Monahan, something like that. I'd be more happy than whatever crap that is on that flight.
I'm still trying to get to that game, Ryan. It's a puzzle game, and I'm still struggling.
The puzzle sections are a pain, but
I hate it.
It is.
It's a good looking game, though.
Great combat, very fun.
Yeah. But the puzzle parts just.
The new one is going to be even if you're not into gaming, you can put it on super easy mode, and it's probably a better Star Wars story than all the sequels.
Yeah, it looks amazing. It looks really good. All right. What do we have next here? Tommy, what are some of the updates for Epic Universe?
Well, they've basically built the park, haven't they? It's almost done. No, you've got you've got like 2 out of the 4 coasters are already fully tracked and all sorts of shit's going on. It's getting there. It's done. But the couple of things I did want to bring up, and just to kind of prove that we're equal opportunities. We aren't all universal shills. It's just they fuck up a bit less than Disney. Is a few weeks ago, they come out with them really stupid logos, and then they quickly realised that they were really stupid, and then they changed them. And also the other thing is, I don't know if you've heard this, but it sounds like they really, really, really want to get rid of the 3D on Gringotts. Which I've heard a few things about why. One of them is ridiculous, but it does seem to be very much partially a cost-cutting exercise. But for me, that kind of makes that right.
It's 100% that saves 2 positions right there. That saves
it's not just that, but one of the things
a week.
One of the things, the possibilities that was discussed on Twitter by someone that we all know, is that the glasses don't stay on, and there's an issue with them falling off, and that's causing problems with them cleaning up the glasses and all sorts of stuff like that. But that's since whoever provides the glasses changed the plastic and made them more softer, so they do fall off. And it's like the old design that never used to fall off. They
solve one problem and cause another. They made new glasses because they were cracking and falling apart, and then the new material slides off your face, so then they're going to make something else. Now that's why they're just going to say, screw it, no more 3D. Disney wanted less 3D. They centralized 3D glasses washing into one building for all their 3D shows, and just drove trucks with 3D glasses around the property because that was easier.
I don't understand. I was just looking at the plans today for how they're going to centralize the warehouses for the kitchens, and they've got these massive 5-acre warehouses that are building at Epic, but that means they're going to be able to centralize all the catering and visual merchandising warehouse and stuff like that. So I don't understand why, when things are being consolidated down at the new site and moving, why they can't just have a new area where they just do all the glasses washing together.
You'll be surprised at how much. I wouldn't be surprised if they're just running out of 3D glasses and they're almost out. I think that's quite expensive for a new order because they have to order so many. But it's a number higher than you would expect.
Yeah, well,
for a new order of those 3D glasses.
The glasses are what, $500 a piece or something like that? They're really expensive.
Yeah, and they don't want to admit it, but that's why they have people at the exit. When the rides first open, Kong still has them, but they have the alarms, whatever. Those are some. We shouldn't even say it because Universal's gonna be pissed. But yeah, they're expensive.
I mean, I was told it's for various reasons. Obviously, one of them, it's not just cost cutting, whereas other decisions to get rid of glasses in the past have been purely cost cutting. But for me, it's just a dick move because that ride is everything with the 3D. And for me, I just don't think it would be the same great experience. And it kind of strikes me as that the kind of thing that usually Disney do, where they're just well, the guests don't really matter. They don't know what they want. So we'll just do it because it financially, it makes sense to us. It's just, so I hope that there's enough of a backlash, but I to be honest, I don't think.
I really wish they kept they originally had the glasses from Hollywood that were meant for Forbidden Journey over there, and then they removed the 3D over there because it was making people sick. So we got the goggles from there at Gringotts, and they were actually themed. They didn't look like the basic Spider-Man black 3D glasses. They had some. I'm
not being funny,
color.
but you can buy some freaking silicone sunglasses wraps. Probably for $2 for 20 that you could put attached to the back of these bloody goggles to keep them from falling off. It's not difficult to come up with a solution, but clearly they'd rather get rid of the 3D.
Any big news stories we missed?
I think we missed one big one, and I don't know how we missed it.
Tron.
Even though I think it's just an okay ride. We're gonna talk about Tron. We're just gonna let that thing ride.
We have cussed a lot on this show. We have dropped a record amount of cuss words in this episode.
Well, okay, we'll do Tron. Here we go. You ready? A ride that's already been open for almost 10 years in Shanghai, opened up in Disney. It's nearly the exact same in Florida as it is in China, and people are pissed as usual about boarding groups. But it looks cool at night and on Instagram.
They couldn't get the gift shop open on time, and also the action figure thing where you put your face and does voices this time. Couldn't get that open in time. So the exit to Space Mountain gift shop, they had to put all the merch in the former Stitch's Great Escape pre-show and
they did
Star Traders, and they pulsed people in between those two through the Stitch's Great Escape queue, basically.
How embarrassing!
Can we also talk about the fact that? Can we talk about the fact that it took them 5 years and 2 months to build this thing? 5 years and 2 months.
Yeah.
Well, they did have a lot of
your child
problems.
Wasn't even alive when they started building this, Chris, and now you have a new one.
Oh, yeah. My kid's almost in kindergarten.
It's
a repeat ride. It's a repeat.
I was working for Disney before this started.
It's not even... We waited a good long while for Cosmic. And I'm so glad Chris lost a bet for Cosmic and not on Tron, because at least the ride is good. But imagine if you lost bet to that.
Once again, I was in Florida. I tried to make good on the bet, and there was no reservation. There was no reservation. I looked it up.
No,
I showed you the screen. There were no reservations that weekend for VNAs. I tried. I bought a suit.
Don't let me... Motherfuckers always see. This is why I don't... See, this is why we... See, look.
You got to lower your expectations. There are plenty of reservations available at Golden Corral. Plenty of them available.
Oh my God, this man was trying to make it. You guys had to see how fast Wakefield was trying to make it to the Golden Corral when he was down here in Tampa. It is 10 o'clock at night, and this man is trying to make it to go. He's like, man, well, I'm about to leave, so I'm going to try to make it to Golden Corral. Golden Corral closed at 11 o'clock. He got an hour drive.
I didn't make it. This man I went to the BW3s on iDrive.
No, you didn't make it, motherfucker. You might as well went to Gyros with me. Oh my God! Like this man, you should have went to Bush Boulevard with me. I could have got you some good food. You over here trying to rush over.
Orlando's got good food now. Like,
yeah, they have Golden Corral.
You going to Golden Corral. But one thing I want to say about Tron, well, the boarding groups, first of all.
Currently, we've spoken more about Golden Corral than we have about what Tron's like. And I'm happy with that, because
it's not
that great. Listen, boarding groups, annual pass holders have a huge problem with, because they can wake up at 7 a.m., but what else are they doing that day? They may not be able to get there for the boarding group, and they are
don't do that,
giving
Ryan.
Strict rules. Listen, I'm just the reporter here. They are giving strict rules at Tron this time around. Boarding groups, you have to make it within an hour of your return time, or you can't get in. No,
I can actually
because a lot of people were camping out and looking to get in line late to get on the ride at night, because it's a better experience, especially during the fireworks. And so they had to make this rule: you can't join later than an hour past your time.
I'm sorry if I'm going to upset my local friends, but to me, I can't stomach that entitled bullshit. Like, if you're going to the park for the day, you're going
entitled.
But
like, look.
But
no, why is it entitled? Because you want to be able to use your pass and show whenever you want to. You make this pass that basically says, look, you make a reservation. First off, they even went against it by making the stupid reservations, but you say you should be able to go on whatever you want whenever you want to pull up. That's the whole point of an AP system, is to be able to come and go as much as you please.
The AP system is that you get in the park whenever you want, because your pass
and experience everything the park has to offer.
It doesn't give you some super...
If it is a ride that is automated, if it's a ride that's on... I can understand a show. Like, a show has set time that has real people there. If it's going to be a ride that's going to be open every day, and it needs to be open, like it's going to be running 24/7.
That's one thing I'll disagree with you on, Jalen, because on every pass, at the bottom, it says... everything basically is subject to availability. Any day. Doesn't matter.
Okay, and that new ride, as much as I can't stand the virtual queue system.
Oh, you're going to bring out the fine print now, now y'all want to read the bottom print.
I'm not bringing out the fine print.
Are unhappy with the way Disney is running their AP program.
If you're unhappy with the way that much about Tron. I don't care about Tron, because Tron is a trash ride to fucking begin with. Let's get that out of the way right off the rip. It's like a 7 at best. It opened up and it was already outclassed by SeaWorld's newest coaster. Like, it's not good. It's not a good ride. Let's get that off the rip right now. I'm not so much mad about that. I'm mad about the fact that one ride, Cosmic Rewind, we can show whenever we want to. I'll fight for Cosmic. I will fight tooth and nail to go on Cosmic. I wouldn't fight for Tron. My problem with it is that you have these AP programs that let people come in whenever they want. And now we're getting into the point of normalizing this stuff where we were talking about boarding groups are bullshit, having reservations, and now we're just talking about living with them.
But that's not
when
what's
the whole entire thing is Disney created this problem their fucking selves.
No, the people that were getting pissed.
Have good capacity. I don't know. Maybe build an actual Tron attraction that you actually have two people racing against each other so you can have two tracks. This is all their fault for creating.
But Jalen, the people were getting pissed, right? Because like they were getting their boarding group and then the time was saying, oh, it'll be like 220 minutes. And they were deciding that they were going to go and do some other shit. And then their group got called up much earlier. Like that's not necessarily a bad thing for the ride. That means the ride's working well, right?
No, the ride is working well, but
so then these people missed their window because they decided instead of booking their boarding group and actually going to the park that they would do some other shit.
It's not even just that, Tommy.
Yeah, but no, they were rocking up to the thing and going, look, I've missed my thing. Can I still get on? And they're like, no. And like you can kind of understand that.
It's not even just an AP problem. The problem is also you have a resort and a company that makes you reserve all of these things out. Like you have to have everything tooth and nail. And then they throw in a little randomizer thing where their system isn't reliable, but you have to be. And that is bullshit.
What I'm getting
That's bullshit. You are Disney. You are this company that says that you have everything figured out to the point where you make people, which you have complained about on this podcast, saying that they make people plan out things 60 days in advance or 2 or 3 months beforehand. And so now you pull up to the park and now you have this thing that can pull you an hour away when you might be at dinner, when you might be at lunch, when you might be at breakfast, or you have that little special experience set away to do Bippity Boppity Boutique. And now you want to throw in this randomizer where I did everything I was supposed to do and you can pull the rug up from under me. No, B, it's foul all across the board for everybody. And for y'all to just sit up here and be like, yo, it's just APs. No, until y'all get screwed over, then y'all gonna want to holler.
But APs are the only ones that are trying to have their cake and eat it. Right. So if I've booked a reservation, which I have to do for Magic Kingdom, and I get up at 7 a.m. because like Tron's the new like flavor of the month in town, and I sit there and at 7 a.m. I get a boarding group and it says, oh, you've got to come back in 4 hours. I'm just going to go to the park anyway because that's the thing I'm doing for that day. Yeah. So I'm going to be there at rope drop. So if it gets called up an hour earlier than the time they said, it's not going to matter. So that's my point. It's an in-demand ride. Hopefully, in the next couple of months, this bullshit will go the same way it went with Cosmic Rewind, where even if they've got boarding groups, then you can still pretty much get on the ride. But
just open it up for standby. Occam's razor.
I think that's easy. That's what people should be talking about instead of just lambasting each other over bullshit. This is
standby.
This is dumb because we know that now we're just trying our best to live with it as opposed to just constantly do what we've been doing from the very beginning and saying that boarding groups are stupid and dumb. And while y'all are in these parks, dick riding Josh tomorrow, when he pulls up, maybe you should tell him that this system is fucking stupid and to get rid of it because nobody else in Orlando is doing it.
One of the things when I go to theme parks alone, I spend a lot more time just sitting outside of rides, listening to people's reactions and listening to how they interact with each other instead of riding the rides. I sat outside of Tron and Guardians for quite a while on both days and just listened as people walked up and were told they couldn't ride the ride and just listening to their disappointment, listening to their anger, listening to their disbelief of, oh my God, I paid all this money. I can't ride this. It's right there. Just let me get in line. And we've had this system for how many years now with virtual queues, and the public just demands, just let me stand in line. The line might be 5 hours long. Okay, let me make that choice. I don't understand.
You know who does let you make that choice? Universal Studios, who has a much better ride. Go ride Hagrid's. Wait 3 hours to go ride Hagrid's and actually get your time's worth for it instead of waiting for that lame ass Tron ride. Like the only thing, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's just really not worth it.
The only thing I would say, and I don't want to depress you, but where it is depressing is the fact that even if Rewind and Tron were standby, the way they structure the lightning lanes is that at certain points and times of the day, you would be like 10% of the people being allowed to go on the ride, and then 90% would be the lightning lane. I did the maths on Rewind when it opened, and it's crazy how the distribution will be. It's just insane, like how bad it could be if it was.
There was a period of about 20 minutes where I was in Guardian's line, and you could see the lightning lane queue booking it, and we were just sitting still. I mean, you can tell when they're just letting in lightning lane one after the other, and you just don't move at all. And stand
They need to bump up that price, bump up the Genie price, bump up the lightning lane price. Let's go. $50 a day per person. Come on.
People will pay it.
And
pay it.
Lowest individual ride, $20. How about it?
All right.
Come on. We gotta see less people relying on this system.
There's more we got to get into, but we got to go because I have a newborn 5-day-old kid sitting here next to me who probably needs to eat food sometime soon. So,
one more thing.
Yes.
California Grill just updated again. Oddly enough, they had to change it again. $89 prefix.
No.
$89. Yes. So per adult, $89 is the lowest you can spend at California Grill. No. You can obviously spend more, but you are not spending less than $89.
Ryan, were you there with me and like Brandon and somebody else, and we went up there and got like dessert and then watched fireworks for like $20?
No.
It was years ago.
You should grasp onto that memory because you may never be up there. For that,
I think I was sworn you were there with our group. And like Brett
I've never been up there. I've never gone to California.
Oh, okay. Well, back in the day, you want to see the Magic Kingdom fireworks? We went up there, got dessert for like $20 and got a couple of beers and watched the fireworks from California Grill. How times have changed. Yeah.
They don't. All right. They're super exclusive up there.
We didn't talk about it, and to be honest, I can't be asked to talk about it. But Matteo did quite an interesting thread on his experience at the Toy Story barbecue place. So that's probably worth a read. I can't remember his name. What's his thing? Just Matteo or something like that. But yeah, it doesn't sound good.
Expensive badly made.
Go to Whispering Canyon. Jesus, it's that simple.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, where can we find you online?
I'm Imagineer6 on Twitter.
Tommy, where can we find you?
At Tommy Hawkins on Twitter and Instagram. If I'm not shadow banned on Twitter for saying trans or whatever words you're not allowed to say now.
Yeah. Jay, where can we find you?
TC Jalen on Twitter, Instagram, Tom Mario's Child, and on these hoes' neck.
And you can find me at Wakefield Report. And you can follow the show at eTicket Report on Twitter also. Again, we don't thank them enough. Mice Chat for paying the bills. Once they figure out we're still on the air, they're going to stop paying the bills. So when that happens, we're also on YouTube. Just look up eTicket Report, and the show is in there also. That's all we have for this week. We'll see you all next time.